Okay, so I'm Cynthia, and I am the host of the reality series CPS the Horror Stories. I'm in California, as is Carly, and the purpose of this show is to just reveal the truth of the destruction that CPS causes families when they remove children. Most of the time that I've seen is not for good reason. So, Carly, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Carly Smith. Well, I'm going to be Carly Smith. I use my fiance's last name most of the time anyway. I live in Wheatley. I basically live in my dad's place. My dad took me in a while back, and I've been living here for, give or take, since 2015.
Okay.
Beforehand, I was basically, my daughter and I were bouncing place to place because we had gotten kicked out of the home that my late husband gave to us or rented for us. My late husband passed away in 2011, and he had liver failure. So I had a couple of roommates come in and out, and they brought a lot of questionable people in our house. So we were just trying to struggle to get our heads above water and have somebody help us pay the rent because it was exorbitant. It cost a lot of money just for the home that we had, you know.
Right.
Well, we got kicked out, and we moved to another place that we thought was safe, and it turned out not to be a very nice situation. Then we ended up going to a shelter. From there, we just bounced from house to house until my dad finally said, "You know what? Come live with us." So Michaela, my daughter, had stability. So we moved in 2015, and things are going great. My dad is a lymphoma survivor, or was lymphoma survivor, and I was taking care of him because he was still kind of reeling from all the effects of the medication, and I was keeping up the home and taking care of my little girl. She's now 10. And just, I'm doing okay. But unfortunately, my dad is a hoarder. So it's really, I've struggled picking up the house because I really didn't have a lot of help. My dad was too weak to get up to help me.
Yeah.
So a constant mess. And so 2 years ago, my fiance moved in. I finally got the person I should have been with a long time ago. And he took care of me. I had shattered my knee, like tripped and fell, decided to kiss the sidewalk, so to speak. And shattered my right patella.
Wow.
And he took about 15 months from being on the road. He's a trucker. And he took care of me and tried to keep the place up as much as we can. We had no problems for since we moved in and got Michaela into the certain school named Alpha Elementary. We had no problems up until a year ago with the school.
Yeah.
The previous principal had retired, Mrs. Shida, she's a very kind, gentle soul. And this new lady came in, and she was the exact opposite. So we literally clashed. I didn't like her, she didn't like me. It's just the feelings were pretty much mutual. I met her on back to school night, and she's just kind of like literally just very, how do I say, uppity? One of those people that just think they're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And my daughter didn't like her at all because usually she gets quite attached to like the teachers and stuff. You know, my parents were teachers. We come from a family of educators. And so she was really attached to Miss Nishida. So she figured she had a better relationship with this principal. No. She wouldn't hug anybody. Usually, you know, Miss Nishida would always give one of the kids a hug if they needed it. No hugs from this lady. Well, fast forward to now, my son came to live with us to help me out. My son's 19. He's on the ASD spectrum, but he's very high functioning. I mean, you wouldn't even know if I didn't tell you. He's just so smart. And he noticed that I've been like going stir crazy and like literally just going completely out of my head.
Right.
I said, well, Mom, you need to go on the road for a little bit just to clear your head and be able to think. So I go on the road with my fiance, and we were only supposed to be gone a week. Well, as you know, truckers don't work that way. The trucking companies like to make you go all over God's green earth.
Yes.
Luckily, he only works west coast.
Okay.
So we were supposed to go up to Oregon and back down. We went down to LA, got to run around up there, went out to all the way to Washington, to Montana, back down to Idaho, to Nevada, to Arizona, to New Mexico, and back and forth a few times. And Jeremy's like, well, I need to get her back home. I kept in contact with my daughter every day. And my son, both of them talked to me. And they seem to be getting along great. Jeremiah was taking care of him, taking care of her, you know, feeding her, getting her, you know, homework and stuff. Well, the last week, he forgot to get up and get her homework. They go by the bus and you meet them at the bus stop. They exchange packets and stuff because of the COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I called her teacher and let her know what's going on. And her teacher, you know, she seemed to be really enthusiastic about us taking my kid on the road with us. Well, she sent the principal over. Like, okay, well, as long as she just drops it and goes, you know what I mean? My son was just moving in with us, so he had all this stuff in the front room, getting ready to put it in the back. She happens to come over and like peep over, you know, to kind of stick her nose into our home and like look at the mess, and she decides to call the cops. As told us from my son, she decided to call the cops because my daughter just woke up from a nap, and you know she gets kind of grumpy after getting woken up from a nap. I guess she gave the principal some attitude, and the principal didn't like it and called the cops. And my son called me and told me about all this. The cops have my daughter. I'm sitting there in New Mexico, like listening to all this, and I'm like literally like getting really angry. It's like, what the heck? When I talked to the officer knew my dad. Let me back up a little bit. My dad passed away 7 months ago.
Okay.
And we were really close. He had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it just came suddenly. We did not even expect it, you know. So I was talking to the police officer. I'm like, look, my dad passed away. It's going to be a mess. My son just moved in. That's just common for clutter, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And they just like took it to a new level. I was like, wow, you guys just don't even give me time to get back to straighten this up. So they called CPS. Next thing I know, I'm talking to the social worker who's really obnoxious. And so I'm trying to explain to her that I have some disability that makes it really hard for me to clean. The fact that my dad was a hoarder did not help.
Right.
The fact that I was taking care of my daughter with my back problems, my anxiety, my depression, on top of everything else, my shattered knee was, you know, quite overwhelming. And I was trying to explain, and what I got from the CPS workers, you're responsible for your disability. And my fiance and I are saying, like, wait, what? Like, how is a person responsible for their disability? And mind you, my daughter is very willful child at 10. She's already started that time of the month, and
Oh,
she's
at
just
10?
just prepubescent already at 10.
Wow.
Willful child. Big attitude there, like,
Yeah,
take a shower. No, take a shower. No. Okay, if you do not take a shower, you're gonna get your computer taken away. Fine. You know. So I told the social worker, what do you want me to do? Throw her in there? You know, scrub her, and then you guys accuse me of something else? I mean, I have to work with this. I have to pick my battles. So, you know, I'm like, she does take a shower every other day. She's got curly, thick hair. Like curly, thick hair. So when she wakes up, it's all messy.
Yeah.
And it takes a battle just to get back to normal. Well, I mean, being that she just woke up from a nap, haven't had lunch yet or dinner yet. I mean, they caught her like right in between the two times, you know. And let's just say it was like really hard to get back home. We were trying to get back home. My fiance was trying to get DM to get us to run back home. And it took us like 2-3 days to get back home. And I was just like beat myself up, you know, like I should just stayed home, you know, just stayed home and none of this would have happened. My fiance and Jeremiah both agreed that I needed this time to just be able to think, you know. And my son said, I had this all taken care of. I had left the note with my son on his phone. Texted it saying, Carly Smith, give Jeremiah Shulman permission to watch his sister while I'm gone.
Yeah.
We had food in the fridge, They had food, they had everything, the water was running, everything, and there were no bruises on her, nothing to show physical abuse or neglect. She's just a very tall, skinny girl. Her birth father was 6'4" and skinny.
Yeah.
So, so now I'm having to go to counseling for all this. It's completely stressed me out. I have video calls with her, luckily. And I have a good social worker and a good attorney so far.
Yeah.
My fiance's not too happy about it either. We're just trying to work to clean the house. We've made pretty much a big dent in her room and in the kitchen. And, just working little by little. I managed to get it arranged for her to be with my sister-in-law instead of strangers. So that's what they're working on right now.
Wow. So, what about, you said you have a son too, right?
Yeah.
Where's he?
He's right now sleeping on the couch. He fell asleep playing his PlayStation.
But he's with you.
Yeah.
So only your daughter got taken away.
Only my daughter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's 19. He's 19 years old, though.
Oh, okay. So he's past the age. How old is she?
She's 10.
Okay. How long has she been gone?
Since I think beginning of June.
This last June.
Yeah, this last June.
And you haven't obviously gone to court yet, right?
We've not done the court thing. We've done meetings with the social workers and stuff, and judge basically ordered counseling and parenting classes, which I'm willing to do. I have no problem. I have stuff to work on. He was gonna order drug classes. I'm like, and my attorney objected to that, which he granted, because I really don't have a problem with that at all. I'm 14 years clean, which is a big accomplishment,
What did you use when you used?
Meth.
Okay. How long?
I used it since I was 15, and it was like on and off.
Okay.
I quit when I was 26.
That is an accomplishment. Meth is hard to quit, I've heard.
Huh?
I said that is a big accomplishment. Meth is hard to quit, I've heard.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to quit. It's about as bad as heroin. But with meth, you don't really have anything to help you come down off of it. You just basically have to
Do it.
do it, like right through it, all the symptoms and everything. It's horrible. It's like hell,
Yeah. Yep. Wow. So, where is she right now? In foster care?
Yeah, she's in foster care in Fresno.
Have you gotten to see her or no?
I see her video chat. She goes with a CYS video chats, and they supervise everything. It's really difficult because I can't answer everything for her right now because I don't know myself, because they like to drag their feet.
Yeah.
And I know she wants to tell me things and she can't because we're being supervised. I
Right.
just can see the sadness in her eyes, and she's like, I want to come home, you know?
I understand. It's hard looking at your kids and
Yeah, she's like, and then she tells me, oh, well, I hope you didn't cut your brother's hair because I'm a hairstylist. I'm like, hey, he wanted it. I'm just, going with what he wanted.
I'm a hairstylist too.
I'm trying to strip the hair out of the purple out of my hair now.
Why? It looks good.
I'm just gonna go back to blonde. I guess this looks okay.
Looks good. So, what is the plan? Like,
The plan is to get her with my sister-in-law. She lives in Exeter, California. It's like about 35-minute drive. It's like right close to Visalia. I'm not sure if you've heard of Visalia,
no.
but it's like in the Central Valley. It's like right between Fresno and Bakersfield.
Okay, yeah.
So we're trying to get to Exeter, and we're going to be moving there ourselves because, I mean, there's nothing here for me in Reedley anymore. My dad passed away. He was a very well-known educator here in Reedley. He taught at the high school. That's my dad.
Okay. You look like him.
Oh, thank you. A lot of people say that, I come home and my son, when I shaved all my hair off and everything, he's like, Papa? Like, no.
That's funny.
But yeah, he was an educator for a very long time and very well known. He was known in the Kings Canyon Unified School District, very well known.
Educator for what?
High school,
Okay.
he taught science, mathematics, and history.
Wow. Wow.
He was one of my biggest supporters ever. We were very close, very close. I'm pretty much his only child.
Well, Carly, I'm sorry that this all happened. I know it's still very soon in your case. It's all just kind of unfolding. I'd like, in a couple months, maybe we can do an update to hear how your daughter's doing in foster care. That hopefully she gets moved with your sister-in-law. Hopefully she just comes back to you.
Yeah, we're crossing our fingers. My sister-in-law and I have known each other for 20 years.
That's awesome.
And I call her my sister, and there's nobody else can tell me different. We're like really attached to each other.
Yeah.
We help each other every day, and just she's actually an RN and took care of adult people with disabilities for a very long time. And her home is just wonderful. We went there for the 4th of July. She cooks well. She has critters all over the place, dogs and cats. She's just got a really big heart. So we have a very full support system.
That's good. You need that.
on
Now,
both ends.
did you say that you had a disability that they were?
Yeah, I have fibro. I have Aspie. I'm an Asperger's. So that's like very highly functioning autism.
Yeah.
I have congenital hypothyroidism, so that gives me a speech impediment. But other than that, you couldn't even tell unless I told you.
Right.
I have
Well,
a broken back with rod holding it up from an accident, and I have a really bad knee.
you know, I have a lot of health issues. I don't know if you've seen my story. Um, it definitely shouldn't mean that they get to take our kids away or get to even say anything about it.
I know, it's like they use everything against you. And like they're using my past against me. They're using because my son got taken away. My mom took my son away when he was very little because I wasn't living the right life, and I understand that. But once I started getting sober and doing the right thing and going back to school and getting my life together, she should give me a chance to reunify with my son. And my older brother had a lot to do with it too. Because my older brother and I don't talk anymore. We're estranged.
Yeah.
But my son could tell you some horror stories about that. He ended up having to go to a foster home because my mom was in an accident and broke almost every bone in her body. And because he was only 17, he wasn't able to go, just stay there by himself. My brother basically made sure of that. And he's fully capable. He's done this before,
Yeah.
But my brother is one of those tyrannical people that doesn't want to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. He ended up going to foster care. And since he aged out of it, he came to live with me. So he knows exactly what they're capable of. And he's been part of the meeting for most part. He's had a lot to say to them, like literally call them out. He had no filter.
Yeah.
My son is extremely smart when it comes to history and social studies and stuff like that. But when it comes to his sister and his mother, if he feels we're threatened,
Yeah.
he'll stick up for us.
Good. Good.
And I keep telling him, you should be a family law lawyer or something.
What do you say?
Too stressful.
It is. Let me tell you, just listening, I'm not even in court or anything, and just listening to everybody's stories, it makes me so angry, and it really does affect my life. Like, I mean, already because of my case, I have a different appreciation and love for my kids, but then doing this, it just, I don't know how to explain it.
My daughter we're very bonded with each other. I can feel when she's hurting
Yes.
or when she's scared, and she can feel the same thing. Like when I am having one of my fibro flares or something, she doesn't want to leave the house. She wants to stay with me.
Wow, I have fibro too, and I have lupus.
Yeah,
So,
it's horrible.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing what's going on so far. And like I said, in a couple months, let's do an update and see what's going on. How does that
Of
sound?
course.
Whoa.
Hopefully I'll be through most of my parenting classes. I've taken them before, so it should be just a breeze.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck. And like I said, let's talk soon.
Okay.
All right.
Keep up the good hair and keep up the good job with your hair. I love it.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.